I really do believe, I am convinced of it, that everything that happens in our lives, though it's not necessarily things that we would consciously choose, though it's not things, if we had an opportunity to write the script, to consciously write the script, these are certainly things that we would not have purposely included in the writing of our story. If we had a chance to stand in line and cast our vote, there are certain things that we wouldn't have even put on the ballot consciously, right? But sometimes life unfolds in such a way as to where these different things happen, but they're actually happening to actually deliver us, give us awareness, help us to deal with some things that were previously unresolved from the past that we don't even sometimes recognize. And that includes whatever the cause of physical pain could be. And listen, folks, I'm not just pulling some stuff out of my back pocket. I'm not just telling you some theoretical stuff. I have been experientially seeing this happen for well over 20 years now. And time after time, I've been blessed to work with people, and sometimes myself, definitely myself as well, where something is operating on the surface, but the thing that's operating on the surface, it's like an iceberg. You only see the tip of it, but the great majority of it is underneath the surface. You can't see it. The real weight of what's going on is beneath the surface. A tree, you see what's above the ground, but you don't see the intricate root system that's underneath the earth, that's beneath the surface. And so what happens is that we end up experiencing the fruit of our lives in whatever way the fruit of our lives might play out. And sometimes we get upset with the fruit that we see because we don't really understand what the root cause of that issue is. And we can't really get rid of the fruit in our life. And we end up seeing repeated experiences, having repeated experiences of it because we don't understand the root and don't address it from the root. We pacify ourselves, we take painkillers, we do things to numb ourselves, we distract ourselves from what it is that's really going on the inside, don't deal with the root. And as long as the root is there, whatever it is that we're not liking is going to continue to grow and going to continue to bear the fruit that may be undesirable in our lives, right? And that includes physical pain. Even if the physical pain on the surface level resulted from a car accident, resulted from a physical injury, resulted from somebody, you know, physically engaging you in a way that ends up resulting in pain, or an accident where you might be walking and trip and fall, or you might be in the process of you know, going through whatever it is that you're doing in your daily life. You could be preparing some food to eat and cut your finger. All right. You can be walking on the beach and cut the bottom of your foot on a sharp piece of a seashell. Right? Any of these things can happen. And the reality is that there's always something beneath the surface that's going on, though you really might not always know what that is. One of the gifts of my life, a challenge too, but one of the gifts of my life is that I've continually challenged to look beneath the surface, to delve beneath the surface and endeavor to address the root. It's a privilege that I've been able to exercise in terms of supporting others, a responsibility too, in terms of addressing others, but also in terms of addressing me, right? Because in reality, there are no victims in this world. There are no victims. That doesn't mean we don't have victim stories that we tell ourselves, because sometimes we do. It doesn't mean that we don't have challenges um, that we don't know how to make sense of, because sometimes we do. But I believe in an infinitely, simultaneously infinitely powerful, but also infinitely loving God, who is in every moment seeking to bless us. And sometimes we're receptive to that, and sometimes we're not. Sometimes the blessing comes in a form that's agreeable to us. And sometimes the blessing comes in the form of something that we don't think that we want. Sometimes we think we want stuff that ends up being something that ends up destroying us. Sometimes we don't think we want something that ends up being what makes all the difference in our life for our betterment, right?